The year 2020 will probably go down in history as one of the least eventful years in a long time. I mean, we did have Tiger King and Harry and Meghan left the royal family. That was cool. I don't know. This dude won an Oscar for Best Film, and I mean, that was pretty much all I could find. So in order to spice things up a bit, I bought a white 2001 two-wheel drive Chevy Suburban. I know, I'm a real risk taker. Other YouTubers are buying Lambos and I buy a Chevy, but as you can see from the title, this isn't a normal Suburban. In fact, it's more like an early to mid 2000s Pimp My Ride truck with a crazy custom limo interior, but with actual real useful things done to it like a supercharger, a built engine, suspension work, expensive big brakes, and the best part is, I only paid, put your guesses in the comment section now, $4,600. That's right, a rust-free Suburban from Texas, straight as an arrow with ice-cold AC and a pounding stereo. Now, it does have one gigantic issue, which you guys will see and experience. Whoa. But overall, I think I did pretty good. Oh, and it was originally owned and built for an NFL player, which you're gonna see in the interior. Now, obviously, I'm kidding about 2020. We all know how crazy this year has been, but hopefully you guys have been able to relax and unwind a little bit by watching some good car content here on YouTube, maybe streaming a movie or TV show online. And if that's your thing, then check this out. I'm a big sci-fi movie nut, and I wanted to watch Predator. Problem is, Netflix in the US doesn't have any Predator movies right now. Luckily, I have NordVPN, so I can make a secure internet connection to any one of their 5,500 servers located in 60 different countries. So let's transport ourselves to Germany and see what happens. Same Netflix page, I hit refresh, and Predator movies galore. My mom's from Italy, and there's a site called RaiPlay that only allows people in Italy to watch Italian shows and movies, so we connect to a server in Italy, and bam, my mom is able to watch her favorite show, Don Matteo, and since I already have NordVPN, it was totally free for her. Well, I did get some really good biscotti out of the deal, so that was nice. You can install NordVPN on pretty much everything, including Apple devices, Android, and directly to your TV or computer, and content unblocking is just one of the many features. I could seriously go on forever with examples on how to use NordVPN, but you just gotta try it out for yourself. So go to nordvpn.com/legit or use my coupon code LEGIT for 68% off, making this only $3.71 a month. And there's a 30-day money-back guarantee, so zero commitment from you guys. Big thanks to NordVPN for continuing to sponsor automotive content creators like myself. Now, let's take a look at the Suburban, and I gotta show you this interior to start things off. Then we're moving on to the blower, the brakes. We're going for a test drive, going to the garage. This thing is seriously awesome. All right, guys, here we go. So this was originally bought and built for an NFL player. Now, it has the New Orleans Saints decals on here, although I looked this guy up, and he never played for the Saints. So there have been, I think, 3 or 4 owners at this point, so maybe there was a Saints fan in there. But if we go inside here, you'll notice it's missing the middle row seats, and it has captain's chairs slammed all the way to the back. And this was owned by number 96 of the Cleveland Browns between, I think he played for them between 2002 and 2005. His name is Kennard Lang, and he was in the NFL for about a decade. He played for 3 different teams, but at this time, it was early on in his career, he was 96 for the Cleveland Browns. So he obviously was very proud of that, and he had it stitched into the most comfortable seats I've ever sat in, and they're in excellent condition. Look at these things. Guys, I could seriously go to sleep back here. It's very comfortable, but something that is very unique, especially considering that this was all done in the very early 2000s, like probably 02 or 03. He had almost every surface in the interior wrapped in suede. So all of the pillars suede. This is suede. Obviously, the headliner is in suede. He went for kind of a little limo theme back here. So you have this cubby, and you have the AC controls over on this side. You guys are going to notice the interior has seen better days. Some things are kind of falling apart. But even right here, this is where you're going to step up with your foot. It's wrapped in suede as well. And we have these phenomenal old school TVs in the headrests, and there are a lot of gaps going on. The interior definitely needs some work. So you can see right here, I think this pillar was basically custom made.
I don't believe it's the original. And for some reason, there's a gigantic gap here in the headliner. So, I mean, this isn't anything that wore out. It had to have been like this when he had the truck put together. So kind of a little odd. The suede came off of here. That's okay, we'll just leave that open. And he had this plastic trim wrapped, so I like what he was going for here, but it's aged. The sun has kind of beat it down, so some of it is flaking apart. We have an air-fuel ratio gauge, a tweeter, and a boost gauge. This thing has a crazy, crazy stereo. And check this out, I had my coffee in here, I pulled up too hard, and I found an Alpine amplifier, and I think that this is just one of two. I think this powers all of the speakers inside the car, and there's got to be a separate one for the gigantic subwoofer in the back, which I'll show you here in a minute. But he did the white face gauges. Oddly enough, the steering wheel is not wrapped in suede or Alcantara or whatever they use, but everything else is. And I don't believe that these are the factory leather seat covers. They're not ripped or anything. They're just a little wrinkly, but very, very comfortable. The passenger seat is even better, and we just have a ton of room here in the middle without that middle row of seats, and kind of just some loose carpeting here that needs to be glued down or redone. These seats are in great condition, and if only all of this suede could talk. I can only imagine what was going on in this limo Suburban back in the day. So not the most room back here any longer with these captain's chairs and this gigantic subwoofer. And this thing is loud, guys. It's very loud. And check this out. I looked in here and I found a couple pulleys. So I think these are different supercharger pulleys. And with that, let's go pop the hood. So like most of my car reveals, you guys are seeing this vehicle exactly the same way that I saw it the first day it arrived. So I didn't lift this car. I haven't really gone too deep into looking into it because I want to discover everything with you guys for the first time. And this thing is quite the mystery. The person I bought it from had only owned it for a few months, so he didn't know a lot, but this is the mod list that he sent me. And as you'll see, it says that there's a 6-liter engine. Now, I bought this sight unseen. When you're buying a sight unseen LS vehicle, you have no way of verifying what kind of engine, what's inside of the engine, just by looking at some pictures. So I bought this knowing that this very well could be the stock 5.3 liter that came with the Suburban. If it's a forged 6 liter, it's a bonus. The engine is in great condition. It has good oil pressure and runs well. So I still would have bought it at $4,600 with a totally stock engine. So as you can see here, we have headers on this, and we have a Whipple side mount supercharger. So this is a hot air kit, no intercooler. It's very old. I spoke to Whipple, and this hasn't been made for at least a decade. So it's very possible that this was put on by the guys who built this for Canard Lang. And Whipple said that this puts out about 125 additional horsepower. So this Suburban should be pretty quick. Keyword should. I don't know exactly how quick this thing feels, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. We have a major issue with it, but it does have aftermarket fuel injectors, maybe some 60 or 80 pounders. It's got a Walbro fuel pump, little odds and ends, bolt-ons and whatnot, but this overall, for $4,600, just the engine alone with the supercharger, I think is totally worth it. And then you get a 59,000 mile rust-free 2-wheel drive Southern Suburban included. We have a couple of different supercharger pulleys. I believe one of them makes about 6 pounds of boost, the other 13 pounds of boost, which I would imagine would be super inefficient being a hot air kit. But I would say this is roughly a 500 horsepower engine. It has a BTR stage 3 blower cam as well, so that's going to help out. Double valve springs, all of the valve train upgrades that you would imagine would go along with a boosted setup. And we're going to go for a ride, and I'm going to show you a major issue that this has, and a big reason why I only paid $4,600. All right, so here we go. Runs beautifully. Pretty harsh shift there. We're in second gear now. Let's see if we can make it to third. Whoa! No, we can't. It totally slipped, so it will not shift into third gear. This has the stock 4L60E transmission, I believe. I believe it's stock. And that's what the owner before the guy bought it from said. And we all know those transes don't even hold up with a stock, you know, 5,000 or 5,300 pound Suburban. So, whoa, sometimes it'll go into gear and it, whoa, not right there though. And it jumps. Let's put it into first and see what she feels like, at least for one gear, and hopefully we don't grenade this thing. All right, so I'm in first gear. Whoa, this thing does feel fast. All right, so about 7 pounds of boost. Wow, so we have the larger supercharger pulley on here. We can pulley down and get almost double that amount of boost. I can tell you right now, this thing is gonna be fun. Woo! All right, so it has 1 and 2. These things had a 3/4 clutch pack issue. I had a 4L60E in my Trans Am that broke the big band. It just snapped in half. So that can be an issue. I believe in that case, though, it gets stuck in second or third or something like that. But yeah, check this out. We're back in drive. Whoa. That felt, actually, that one felt like a little bit of a downshift. Let's see. Yeah, no. It is just slipping and then catching every once in a while. This thing is done. I did check the transmission fluid, of course. It has the proper amount of transmission fluid. I think we just have a cut and dry bad transmission. And that was one of the reasons why the previous owner sold it cheap. For your everyday normal person, getting a new transmission in a truck, even a stock replacement for this, would be at least a couple of grand. And we did get a check engine light, of course, on that little beatdown. This has popped up a couple of times for some misfire codes, although it seems to run well. I will say it does run a little rich. C12, high 12s, low 13s, there we go, at idle. So we have to mess around with the tune. I have to make sure that the injectors are scaled properly in the tune and just kind of go over the entire tune before we go too crazy with this thing and, you know, get a trans in it. That would help. Woo! You guys hear that? It's got a little buck and surge. Ooh, there's the trans. Oh, there we go. So something's up with this tune. Every once in a while, it's got like a dead spot in the throttle, and it'll do a little backfire thing. But other than that, other than the transmission slipping, and other than it running rich as well, it runs well. Like, the engine is strong. There's no weird ticking noises. It doesn't blow out any oil. It doesn't burn any coolant or burn any oil so far. I guess I don't really know that. I haven't put too many miles on it. But I know that we have a good foundation. The engine is stout. A transmission is seriously no big deal for one of these. It's 2-wheel drive. Very easy to do at home. So we got to get a new trans. Look at the tune. I'm literally stuck here in neutral. Hopefully I make it home. And we'll sort out a few things and clean her up. But right now, I want to lift this up in the garage and see what's going on underneath. So it looks like it has some suspension work done to it. It does handle much better than a stock Suburban of this era. I had an 05 Escalade, which is pretty much the same thing. And this thing handles pretty well for such a gigantic big truck. So let's put it up in the air. Hey, good shift, good shift. When it heats up, it's better. Going to, no. White boosted LS. Meet the original white boosted LS. This is a pretty good look in here. 01 Suburban, 01 WS6 Turbo Trans Am. And I've lifted this now for the very first time. We're going to be taking a look at this together right now. So, right off the bat, what do we got going on here? A little bit of oil leakage. I haven't seen any drips on the ground. It's set in my driveway for over a week, so probably a minor leak there. And let's see, we have different shocks. They're definitely not factory shocks. I don't really see any decals or stickers on them. Different bolts for the sway bar bushings. I believe this is a bigger sway bar and bushing. And what else do we got going on here? Oh, look at this. This actually has catalytic converters, little high flow catalytic converters. And these are, yeah, these are long tube headers. Very, very nice. I'm so glad it doesn't have shorties or mid-lengths. So a pretty nice exhaust system so far. Then we have our little crossover pipe going on right here. And what is going on with the rest of the exhaust? I have no idea. These actually kind of look like stock mufflers. I mean, I doubt it, but I don't see any writing on them at all. Let me know in the comment section. Do you guys know what's going on with these mufflers right here? And then that's about it. It goes over the rear end, and I'm assuming it was just lopped off here, and there may have been some kind of tailpipe situation in the back. Not any longer. You can see all the soot there from the exhaust. Oh, here we go. These are Beltec Street Performance shocks. Looks like a beefier sway bar, but wow, not used to this at all. Look at how clean this is. So this was originally registered in Florida. It spent a lot of time in Texas, it seems like, and Florida, basically. I believe that Kennard Lang did not live full-time in some of the cities that he played for, and maybe this truck just stuck around. I was looking at some of the records on the Carfax, and it's basically been in the South, it seems, or at least registered in the South, its entire life. And if you guys are from the Midwest, you're not used to seeing this. You're used to seeing surface rust basically everywhere, sometimes actual rust eating away at parts of these older GM trucks. So a lot of the pickups in these full-size SUVs, these will be completely rotted out, totally solid, right in here as well. And it does look like that this Suburban has the Denali ground effects kit. So the Suburban did not get this. I believe this is a Denali ground effects kit, and this just looks like a straight up custom bumper in the rear. Oh, and it used to have a it has a camera right there, and everything seems to be disconnected. That definitely does not work right now. So it did have a backup camera, and then the front bumper looks to be custom or aftermarket as well. So I don't have the wheel locks to take the wheels off, but we have some 20-inch aftermarket wheels. At first, I didn't like these, but I think they're going to clean up nicely. I'm not a huge fan of black wheels, so we'll see. Maybe I'll get them powder-coated something else. Comment down below, what color do you think would look good on a white truck like this? But take a look. We have big, bare brakes. I believe these are 6-piston calipers, and these are 2-piece rotors. Look at that. So very, very nice looking brakes in the front. Very expensive. When you see modifications like big brakes and suspension work on a vehicle, there's a good chance that no expense was spared. Normally guys just go for big power and leave all the brakes alone. But the puny little brakes on the Suburban definitely needed an upgrade, especially with the additional power. And that's what it has. So here is our bad transmission. I believe it's a stock 4L60. So we have to swap out this slipping 4L60E transmission in the next episode, and you guys are not gonna wanna miss that one. We rip apart a transmission. I have a Circle D 3200 stall going in. We're gonna play with the tune as well. This thing is gonna launch like crazy with boost right off the line, and that 3200 stall is just gonna put it right in its power band. It's gonna be amazing, guys. I'm really excited about this truck, and I had never actually seen a 2-wheel drive full-size GM truck like this in my life. Coming from Chicago, I honestly didn't even know a Suburban could come in 2-wheel drive. I told my buddy Sam that in Florida, and he's like, dude, you're nuts. That's how they all are out here, which kind of makes sense. You don't need 4-wheel drive everywhere, but $4,600 for this truck, 59,000 miles, clean title, no accidents, clean Carfax. According to Kelley Blue Book, without any modifications, this thing's worth like 10 or 11 grand, which is a little nuts. But overall, I think I got a phenomenal deal. Let me know in the comments section what you guys think. Do you guys remember on some of the reality TV shows, they would do like confessions where they would interview one of the cast members, and it'd always be in the exact same spot? This, if I did a reality TV show, especially with cars, this would be my studio right here, sitting in these captain's chairs, and that actually is going to bring me to our outro. If you haven't already, make sure to follow me at LegitStreetCars on Instagram and on Facebook, and I'm going to leave my Patreon link down below. It's the LegitStreetCars Patreon community. I'm on there all the time answering questions, talking with you guys. I post behind-the-scenes pictures and videos, and my new cars get revealed on Patreon way before they go live on YouTube. It's a ton of fun. It starts at only $2 a month, and it really helps out the channel, so I hope to see you guys there. With that being said, hit the thumbs up button if you haven't already, share the video, subscribe if you're new, and most importantly, have an awesome day. I'll catch all of you in the next video.